Okay, hey guys, Abraham here. Welcome back to the channel. And for this one, I'm just gonna do a quick movie review before I head out for a little dinner date with my wife for her birthday. So for this one, pag-uusapan natin ang movie na Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, speaking of my wife, we saw this together and she actually found this to be, in a way, scary. And that's actually what I'm gonna be talking about here. Nakakatakot ba talaga siya? Given that this is a film also positioned so close to Halloween. It's very weird, in my opinion. Films like Saw 10 and The Exorcist was actually scheduled before Halloween itself. And this is the closest we get that was released back in November 1. So, yun, the day after Halloween, if you will. And therefore, is this the scariest thing that they have to offer? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. First things first, this is the movie adaptation of the popular video game of the same name. Follows the same plot points, if you will, of the game. Especially the third one based on my research, because I only had limited contact with the game itself. And ang alam ko, yun lang yung technically plot na sinundan nila. So let's first talk about the cast or acting. This film stars Josh Hutcherson, who you may recognize from films such as Zathura and of course the Hunger Games franchise. I actually like Josh Hutcherson as an actor, but I felt like all across the board, the cast here just did an okay, not so memorable performance. Each one of them, parang walang standout, wala talagang magandang moments for me. Sobrang hilaw pa yung characterization, and this is something that I felt throughout the entire movie, not just in terms of the cast. I use the word hilaw, which is a Filipino word, pero it's in a way raw. That's the translation. In a way, it's not there just yet. It's uncooked. Hindi pa siya fully nag-simmer to extract the best for this movie. And that's seen all throughout the different elements. When it comes to the cast, hindi naman sila bad in terms of the performance, but in my opinion, there was nothing quite there. But it's not their fault entirely. I felt like the characterization of these characters that we have here weren't utilized to its fullest. And I kind of understand in a way, because first point of view siya, or first POV siya yung game, no? So there's not really a character per se that you're following, so you're making it up from scratch, and you're kind of making up a story within that. So that, I felt, is something that they had to create. They had to create a background story for your main character, for the other characters as well here. And that's where things kind of went downhill, because it wasn't all that great in integrating a good story. I felt like they were boxed to include the storyline itself of Five Nights at Freddy's, but not really have an original idea. Parang na-pressure sila just to fit in it somehow. Now, another thing we're gonna move on to is the story. The story in itself, given that it is somewhat a direct adaptation of the third game, was pretty okay. In a sense na nagulat ako na ganun pala yung storyline niya. But again, it was there but not so quite. Like, almost there but not quite. It could have been squeezed to become something very disturbing, including yung storyline about the kids and their spirit and all. The execution for that, kasi the story, in my opinion, was also very washed down, watered down. It wasn't at its full peak. Again, this is something I've noticed for Five Nights at Freddy's as a whole. This wasn't the most horrifying movie that we've gotten, and that's to answer my question earlier. Is this the Halloween movie of the year? Why did they position it November 1 here in the Philippines? It felt like it could have been like the scariest one, but then they didn't make it at that level. Like, I felt, number one, the kids could have been sinister levels. The makeup, the eerie, creepy vibes of the kids aspect here could have been like sinister. Animatronics, they were creepy in a way, but no, not as creepy as I wanted it to be. And I also felt like there were shots where yung CCTV footage, diba, that could have been implemented in such a way that's very disturbing and scary, and long lingering silent shots like Paranormal Activity. Parang ganun. I felt like there were so many influences now that they could have gotten and implemented to such a degree that would make it really nice. But at the end, I felt like this was a movie that just tried to get the source material, be so faithful to it, but it didn't really succeed to a level that would be satisfying whether you're a fan of the game or not. I feel like all the more if you are a fan of the video games, you're not gonna come out of this enjoying it. I didn't enjoy the film as a film. This had gore as well, but didn't go full blast with it. It didn't show those elements of gore. I don't know if it's because it was cut in the cinema or whatnot, but then here I felt like it wasn't there. So let's recap. In this review, is this a movie that's scary? Not really. Is it great? Not really as well. Again, it felt like it was firing at all cylinders, just ending up missing on all fronts as well. So I give this film, sadly, a score of 3 out of 10. I actually don't recommend it at all because there are other horror films. Even The Exorcist was slightly better than this one, and I wished it would have been a nice first film for Five Nights at Freddy's, but sadly it wasn't. What are your thoughts on Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie? Have you guys seen it? Leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to make every day into an adventure. God bless, guys, and peace.